Welcome to Rich Keys Trading Channel, where we unlock one candle at a time. Please pay attention to the disclaimer on your screen. And without out of the way, let's get into the charts. Welcome back, traders. Today is the 21st of September 2025. It's about 8:31 a.m. New York time. And let's look at the equities. We want to look at SPX500. We look at the NAS100. We'll look at gold, and if there's still enough time to look at a few other assets, then I'll jump into that. But it's just going to be these three: XPX 500, Nasdaq 100, and gold. All right, so let's start off with XPX 500 on the weekly time frame. So XPX 500 on the weekly close again, also with a green bullish candle. There's nothing here on the price action chart that suggests that it's a reversal from here. So my expectation in the next coming week is that XPX would grind up to about the 67.30 zone, 67.30 zone. And then probably from there, it's going to pull back into the band because it's really overstretched. And I'll show you on the weekly chart what RSI looks like. RSI is grinding at 87. Usually, once you get to these levels of RSI, as we did in the previous past, we had a sharp pullback. We had some pullback of some sort. I'm not calling for a reversal, but a pullback. So here we had RSI about what 92, here about 92, and now we are about an RSI of about 87 on this weekly chart. It suggests to me that it's quite overstretched, but doesn't mean that RSI at this level cannot keep cruising for a little bit more further upside, and that is why I have a little bit of an upside target. Would I want to open a new position at this level? No, it's too overstretched. I wouldn't open a position here, but if I'm already in here at that support level that we noted a while ago, this distribution level that I was thinking has now become more like a support zone. Yeah, so if you bought in here and you are long, then yes, I would say shoot for 67.33 thereabout, but protecting your profit, of course. But I wouldn't open a new position at this level to this level. The risk reward is not there for me. So stepping down to the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, again, we close with a bullish daily candle. Volume is thinning out gradually after this strong volume bounce, but again, it's still very bullish. It's still very bullish in my opinion on the daily. The RSI is also quite oversold on the daily. The RSI is about what 90% now, or 90 level. And usually when you get to these levels, it just says it's overstretched. You're more likely will pull back down, supporting our case on the weekly. There is some form of divergence on MACD, considering that we've made a higher high, but your MACD histogram bars haven't reached anywhere closer to what it has been. So this is presenting itself as a divergence, but again, it is not confirmed. Cycle wise, we're just cruising above the high cycle. Again, cruising at the high cycle is not a place to open a new position because more likely you might be coming back down to form a cycle low. So bullish, but I won't open a new position on XPX 500. I wouldn't also take a short because, like I said, you don't have any capitulation candle on the daily. Nothing here that suggests that this thing cannot go up. So yeah, I'm cautious, bullish but cautious, all right, on XPX 500. Quickly, let's step down to the Nasdaq 100 and see what the Nasdaq 100 also looks like. On the daily chart, the Nasdaq 100 also closed clearly bullish candle above the liquidity zone that we had. So this liquidity zone played itself out a bit, had a little bit of a sell-off, but quickly bought back, pushed above the liquidity zone. So therefore, this place now has become more like a support zone on the Nasdaq 100. Um, More or less, if you're trying to go short on Nasdaq, you probably want to wait till you get a daily candle open and close somewhere here at 24,100. Although yes, I see this is overstretched as well, um based on where the RSI is all the way at 94. That is very overstretched, but doesn't mean that it has to come down immediately. it could sometimes cruise here for several days before coming back down. But definitely, this is not a place where everything looks so overbought for you to enter a new position. Target wise on NASDAQ 100, should this continue its way up, I still have this 25,103 target in view. And more likely, I think we might get a capitulation candle that reaches this target before a correction or a pullback. So on the weekly, if you look at it, solid green candle. All right, there's not even a shadow of a wick at the top. Um, Solid green. This is why I'm bullish on the Nasdaq, uh, but with caution, because like I said, the risk reward is not attractive. 24,650 to 25. Yeah, you can inch for it, but I wouldn't open a new position here. No. So that's my take on Nasdaq 100. Yeah, I think bullish but cautious. Now, quickly, let's step down and look at gold. Okay, so gold, I still have bullish perspective on gold ever since we broke out of this consolidation. The idea is that the longer the consolidation or sideways movement, the higher, once it breaks out, it would go. And for this to have consolidated for almost April all the way down to somewhere around August, that's a lengthy period, and we just broken out of this Bollinger Band squeeze, as you can see right here. So bullish on gold. I'll buy any pullback. I'm not saying gold won't pull back. Gold will do some pullbacks, but I will be buying every pullback that I can. The ultimate target, initial target I have for gold is about 4,000. There's even a much higher target, but let's go with what is near. Let's go for what is near first. Okay, so the reason why we're getting some resistance at this level is because I think this is on the monthly chart, this is a Fibonacci 1.618 level, and therefore to definitely show a reaction here. So expect some pullbacks on gold, but still bullish, strong bullishness on gold. Indicators wise on the weekly, yes, we are quite overstretched, and this is why I say that there's potential for a pullback, but RSI could cool off whilst price pulls back slightly, and then we'll continue our journey up. Cycle wise, yes, we also have cycle high. We could probably pull back down a bit again, just like we did here, and then we'll continue our way back up. So um, bullish on gold, like I said, MACD on the weekly is showing bullishness. We outside prior to all our analysis, MACD histogram bars were below zero. Now MACD is solidly above zero. Both the MACD signal and MACD lines, as well as our histogram bars, these are all pointing to strength to the upside. Yes, of course, if you're looking to take a short on gold, you might get a little bit of a pullback money, but it's not worthwhile for me. The risk reward is not there. Stepping into the daily, we had a little bit of a pullback as we so overstretched outside our KC band. So we pulled back, we found support on the 9-day period moving average. And looking at it from the daily perspective, gold might probably just cringe slightly above the 37.25, probably before there is a pullback. That would then probably then give you a divergence on the daily. Now you see how gold can stay in the overbought zone for a long time. So like from August 27th all the way down to September 16th, RSI have stayed above the 70 mark and has just now recently pulled back into the um, RSI band of 60. So potentially we could probably make it up there. It could create a little bit of a divergence here and probably then give us a stronger pullback. Now on the MACD, as you can see, MACD histogram bars went below the zero, but then we're picking back up as momentum shift is happening on the daily chart. It's up to 4 hours, which is more like our trading closest range. And again, on 4 hours, it's visibly clear. All right, so gold came, pulled back down to support zone. Okay, now this area was an area of consolidation, let's not forget. All right, we went above it, had a little bit of a rejection, we've come back in here, and the buyers here have stepped back in again, and they're pushing price back up. So usually once you get these pullbacks of a very strong rally, kind of look at them like a blue flag, right? And then when you break the top part of the flag, you could expect higher prices. So my target wise this week for gold is 37.25, right about here, where I have my little price cap waiting. All right, so my target for gold is here, but obviously my ultimate target is way up somewhere in the 4,000 range, as I said, based on a higher time frame. But that's for a long-term hold, buy and hold of gold target. Um, yeah, this target has been hit already. I had this target a while ago. I can now take it off my chart now, because this area here is also developing itself into, if you put a volume profile, I don't know if I can actually do this right here. But yeah, if you put a volume profile on this chart, this is what they call the POC, point of control. This is a new point of control in development. It just tells me that buyers are accumulating here. So whenever price comes into this area, buyers stepped in, and therefore, for me looking for a pullback to maybe buy some more gold, I'll be waiting for price. Possibly, if it comes back in this area, I'll join those accumulating here. But it looks like they've already done the accumulation and are about to take off again. Looking at my lower time frame indicators, MACD again is MACD is pushing up strongly here on the 4 hours. All right, I don't see any divergence yet as we speak. RSI is just inching up the 70 level, the strength behind this move. So um, I think that's about all that I'd like to share this week on SPX500, the NASDAQ 100, and the gold commodity asset. Thank you for spending some time listening to my analysis. Have a great trading week. Cheers, everybody.